The Atlanta Braves bullpen drops a lead late, and the Braves lose Game 3 to the Nationals 5-4. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsey Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. He's Jake Mastriani, host of Locked On Braves. Follow him on social media at Shortstop Ball. Look, Jake, I got the point right this time. I didn't point the other direction.
Finally got it.
I finally got it. And Jake, 5-4 loss for the Braves to the Washington Nationals. And this one hurt a little bit because you had a 4-1 lead when Bryce Elder left the game. And we're going to get into Bryce Elder and kind of what he did tonight. Really impressed with another great outing from him, and feels like he's kind of back to that 2023 form from an inputs perspective. But there's going to be questions, right? The number one comment we're going to see on the comments here live on YouTube, and the conversation at the water cooler tomorrow is going to be the bullpen usage. When Bryce Elder comes out, Atlanta goes to Aaron Bummer. And then when Bummer has issues, they finish off that inning with Iñigo de los Santos and then send him back out for the next inning. The bullpen decisions to you, was Bummer the issue? Was Iñigo de los Santos the issue? Or was bringing de los Santos back for a second inning the problem in your mind?
I think for me, bringing him back for that second inning, and remember, he didn't have to come back out when you finish the inning. You don't have to bring him back out for the next inning, even if he hasn't faced the 3 minimum there. So that to me was the issue. Once it became a 1-run game and you get into the 8th inning, you got to go to your big bullets and try to secure a win. And look, De Los Santos has been good this year. I like the stuff from De Los Santos, but you got a 1-run lead. You cannot let this game get away. You have to go to your 2 best guys. I'll be interested to see if they ask him in the post game if Iglesias wasn't available. We know Daysbel was, because he was getting up in the top of the 9th there, or in the bottom of the 8th rather, in case the Braves tied it or took the lead. So we know Daysbel was at least available. So I think it's just a question of if they wanted to give Iggy another day of rest. But if both of those guys were available, it makes 0 sense not to go Daysbel in the 8th and Iglesias in the 9th inning there. So I don't understand it. I don't like it. And again, bullpen's been good for the most part. And at some point, those guys have to get you some outs. But once you allow them to get within 1 run there, you had to stop the bleeding. You had to go with your best guys to try to finish it off. You don't know what tomorrow may bring. You got a chance to win and get a game above 500 and keep the momentum going and clinch a series. You got to throw your best bullets in there to try to get it done. And I get it. You're in a long stretch of games. We've talked about it a lot through this stretch. He wants to try to manage that bullpen usage, but you had a chance to win a ball game tonight and you let it get away from you.
Yeah. And I think it was Darren O'Day on the radio call made a great point there. He was surprised that De Los Santos came back out, because he said typically the way that works with relievers is when you come in the middle of an inning with a mess, runners on base, and you get out of a jam, you're typically done. They typically don't send you back out there simply because it's you have the adrenaline dump of going out there, getting through that big inning. And so, yeah, I think the issue was, I would be also curious to hear what Snit says, because Iglesias didn't pitch yesterday. He was down yesterday. You didn't use either Daysbel or Iglesias. Pierce Johnson got your save. And so you would think that they would both be available. And if Iggy's not available for a second straight day after pitching 2 days, that's a larger conversation about the trust you have in your closer. Do you need to make some sort of change and things like that? Okay. I want to back up a little bit. Bryce Elder got the start. Little bit shaky, I felt like, in the first inning, and it didn't feel like he had his best stuff today. Gave up a single to C.J. Abrams, better than the leadoff home run C.J. had yesterday. Hits Ahmed Rosario with a pitch. Ends up giving up a run there in the first. From that point on, Bryce Elder just really cruised. He gave up a couple hard hit balls, 5 total hits, 1 run, 1 walk to 3 strikeouts. It was clear that Bryce Elder didn't have his best stuff. but I still feel like this is a different type of Bryce Elder, where even without that best stuff, he only picked up 7 whiffs in this one. He still was able to do enough to come out of this with a quality start and leave you in a position to get a win.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a similar game plan to what you saw from Spencer Schwellenbach. I think he kind of gave Elder the blueprint with that sinker slider combination, more so the slider that we saw Schwellenbach really, go to a lot on Tuesday night, and Elder kind of leaned into that too. This Nationals team is very aggressive, and they will chase off the plate a little bit, and so I think that played into Elder's hand, and that's why I thought he would have a good start going into this one. But you're right. I mean, being a little shaky early, then able to settle down. I almost thought if you were trying to save your bullpen bullets, once he got that double play in the 6th inning, I thought maybe his pitch count was in a good spot that you could have brought him back out for the 7th. If you really wanted to steal some outs, he was throwing the ball pretty well. That might be the bigger miss to me, is not sending Elder back out there to at least go batter by batter. If your whole game plan is, Iggy's not available or whoever, and I'm trying to save some bullpen arms, I thought you could have sent Elder back out there.
Yeah, I mean, he was at 82 pitches when he left the game. And I never thought I would say that, not pulling Bryce Elder early enough or pulling Bryce Elder too early is the reason maybe you didn't win this game. But in retrospect, some of the pitching decisions in this one were just a little bit weird. I know you're in this stretch of 17 games in 17 days, but you definitely needed to figure out some sort of, way to extend that out in a little bit. I'm trying to remember exactly who he would have faced if he came back out for the 7th. I want to say it was.
He had just gone through 1, 2, 3, so I think it would have been like 4, 5, 6 that he was facing.
That's right. Yeah, it would have been. It would have been, I think, like Low, Call, Josh Bell, Dylan Cruz, that kind of order, I believe. So yeah, you're just that situation. You've already gotten past the top guys a couple times. Let him go back out there. That's definitely something you could have done. It would have been really easy to just steal some outs there versus with the pen. All right. In just a second, I want to talk about the offense, because we saw obviously some changes. Eli White led off. Fairchild was in the lineup, but still some good and some bad. We'll do that next right here on the Braves Postcast. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, Supply House has expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And if you're a trade pro looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM. Start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Anybody can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. I remember we talked a couple weeks ago here on the Postcast about how the bottom of the order, having some speedy guys down there, was able to give a different dynamic and get on base and score runs for the top of the order. And if you look at tonight's game, Michael Harris goes 1 for 4, scores a run. Stuart Fairchild goes 2 for 3 with 2 runs and an RBI, and he walks, so he's on base 3 times. Nick Allen goes 0 for 2 with the walk, scores a run. But Atlanta only has 8 hits. The bottom half of the lineup gave them 4. Gave them 5 because Drake Baldwin pinch hit. And the top of the lineup only gave them 3. I know Marcell Ozuna picked up 2 RBI, but I'm struggling on how much of this is the fault of the bullpen and the pitching decisions in general, and how much of this is the fault of the offense, again, not doing enough in a game where they should have been able to score more than 4 runs.
I mean, there's certainly plenty of blame to go around in this one.
Yeah.
I still think you have a 3-run lead in the 7th inning against the Nationals. That needs to be a win.
Yeah.
Your bullpen needs to lock that down. But certainly the offense could have done more to help them out. You're facing one of the worst pitching staffs in baseball. You had, 3+ innings against one of the worst bullpen in baseball. 4+ innings against one of the worst bullpens in baseball, and you don't score a single run against them. That's that's unacceptable. It cannot happen.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, the middle of the order, not getting it done. Riley, what a terrible at bat that was in the ninth inning there, 3-pitch at bat. Zuna at least put up a little bit of a bat on, like you said. He drove in too earlier. It looked like they were going to waste a golden opportunity after they walked the 8 and 9 batter, but luckily Ozuna came through there. Olsen's been in a little bit of a funk here lately and starting to strike out a bit more. 9 strikeouts tonight, 6 of them against Mitchell Parker in 4 2/3 innings. That's not good. So it's still just the consistency isn't there for this offense. This is a team that when they're clicking and hitting the way that I still think they should, they need to be putting up more than 4 runs a game against this Nationals pitching staff, and they're just not doing it. So, I mean, they had them a 3-run lead in the 7th inning. That needs to be locked down by the bullpen. So I think they and the decision-making by Snitker take the biggest blame, but certainly the offense didn't do enough either to make it an easier decision for Brian Snitker. They got to score more off that Nationals pitching staff.
Yeah. I do think, though, we saw quite a bit of pinch hitting today and pinch running and things like that. Drake Baldwin taking an at-bat there in the 9th inning. That was more of he had to come in because Sean Murphy was pinch run for by Luke Williams. Sending Alex Verdugo up instead of Eli White. I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about that decision. Verdugo been on the bench all day. Has been struggling just in general recently. And I was it the first pitch maybe? He just soft dribbler back to the pitcher. I feel like Eli White could have done that. You could have asked Eli White to bunt and functionally not only gotten the same result, but potentially had Eli White beat out a throw to first base. So I guess it's fine. It just seems like it was a little bit of Snit again saying, hey, I got to get the handedness advantage here. It doesn't matter who I'm taking out and who I'm putting in. It was your leadoff hitter. Like, you felt good about Eli White to put him at leadoff today. Let him take that at bat. If nothing else, use his speed and try to bunt and get on.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it was a bit of a rough night for Eli White, and he has cooled off quite a bit so far. Just 2 hits in his last 4 games, hitting .239 overall on the month. So we may be seeing the cool down version of Eli White, unfortunately. So I don't really mind that one quite as much. You get the lefty up against the righty, but I do agree with your, if the idea there is just to get the runner in scoring position, leave Eli White, let him bunt. I thought earlier, would have been a good time to bunt when he had first and second, nobody out with Eli White up there. But I mean, I love Eli White. I want to see him do well. I think we probably missed the boat on putting him in lead off. As like I said, he's cooled off, but that one wasn't as egregious as some of the other bad decisions in this game. Yeah,
I mean, that was probably 4th or 5th on the list, but it's just something that kind of, it felt to me like it was that strict, I'm going to do the handedness thing that doesn't matter.
And Verdugo's given you some big hits so far too. He
is a veteran.
Good at bats. That wasn't his best effort, but he has given you some clutch at bats.
He absolutely has. So again, Braves drop game 3 to Washington 5-4. Still on track to win the series if you can win the finale on Thursday. This is going to be Trevor Williams versus AJ Smith-Shawver. That feels like the rare getaway day game. You're actually playing in the afternoon and not in the evening. But 12:15, we'll be here for a postcast when that is over. Final thoughts on this one, Jake? I don't know. A small part of me, and I don't know what it is, the cynicism here, a small part of me was worried about this game because Mitchell Parker was a hittable starter. He struggled a lot recently. He struggled in the first inning. You just got over that mental hurdle of getting to a 500 record. Small part of me worried about this. I don't really think this was inevitable. I think this was just a bad game from the bullpen. One that rarely has a bad game.
Yeah. Again, bullpen has been, I've said this many times, they've been a lot better than I expected. I was more so just didn't love the bullpen decision, particularly in the 8th inning there. Once it became a 1-run game, you got to go Daysbull and Iglesias to lock it down. And many people might not want Iglesias in that with the way that he's pitched, but those are your guys. I think that's who you go with. So that was my biggest thing in this game. Again, several questionable decisions in there. I know a lot of people are upset that Drake Baldwin didn't pinch hit for Stuart Fairchild in the 8th inning. You had Stuart Fairchild had a good night, and that was a righty-lefty matchup, and you had Nick Allen on deck. That's who you were always going to pinch hit Drake Baldwin for. So I don't agree with that decision. Some people were upset at that. but I was more so just upset with the bullpen management in this one. You had a chance to win a game. Braves haven't been good in day games, so now you got to try to clinch the series in a morning game, essentially. So it's going to be a tough one for the Braves, but certainly want to get it. You split this series after winning the first two. Feels really bad, and all that momentum you had getting back to 500 kind of goes away.
Yeah, for context here, the Braves bat 251 in night games and bat 211 in day games. So don't really know what that's about. We'll see what happens, but hopefully the Braves can take this tomorrow. Because again, if you, to your point, if you lose tomorrow, then you started off 2-0 in the series and ended up tying the series. But we will see Drake Baldwin. Snit told us yesterday after the game that he wanted Drake Baldwin to play on Thursday as well. We should see Drake Baldwin in the lineup tomorrow. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review for Locked On Braves, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live to talk about hopefully a win tomorrow. I'm going to stop cursing these going forward. For Jake Mastriani, I'm Lindsey Crosby. This has been the Braves Postcast.